Let's go! We finally made it with both teams settling into Brazil and prime for the primetime matchup. However, with changes for the Eagles and Packers, what should you expect in the game tonight and how can the Birds take advantage? Plus, more thoughts on the injury report, as well as why Quinyon Mitchell will prove to be an X-factor on Vic Fangio's defense. So let's talk about it. But first, let's run it. What's up, guys? It's game day, baby. So how about dropping a like since Eagles football is back? Meaning the journey toward the Super Bowl is in full swing, with questions of what team will we see, can the coordinators maximize this roster, and ultimately, do the Birds have what it takes? But yes, I would unsurprisingly be the one to tell you that they do, and I'll get to more of that in a second. However, Good Morning Football's Peter Schrager doesn't believe in the Eagles, and he's taking the Chiefs to beat the Packers this season.
Yo, what the?
I'm with you, but it's pretty wild that Schrags hasn't gotten a Super Bowl pick wrong in the last 5 years. Of course, I'm choosing to believe that means he's due to break the streak. Just like Jalen Hurts and the squad have the answer for the blitz.
We're gonna have success. We've worked so hard against this blitz, and we've put ourselves in position to be able to have success. But we have to understand what's going to happen is it's going to keep coming. Right? It's going to keep coming, it's going to keep coming, it's going to keep coming, and we just got to keep doing the things we need to do to knock it, to knock it out.
Like, this is really a given and probably really no surprise to anyone, but we're going to find out very quickly if Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore fix the answer to the blitz. Because new Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley has made it abundantly obvious that he's going to be after QB1, which will be very interesting to keep an eye on this Packers unit, since Hafley's arrival transitioned Green Bay from a 3-4 to an aggressive 4-3 front that attacks the offense with stunts and blitz packages. By the way, in case you weren't fully aware of those changes and what it might look like, shout out to Rich Madrid for breaking down Hafley's defense, as the former Boston College head coach likes to utilize a 3-by-1 overload front on several different occasions, obviously an attempt to throw off the O-line. Yet it is noteworthy to hear Mekhi Becton say the change in the scheme is going to challenge the unit, since after all they've been used to two gappers in Fangio's scheme. By the way, in case you're wondering what that is, it's basically just beating the pass rusher to the spot to get the upper hand on leverage. Now granted, Jeff Stoutland's unit will be ready, and have definitely gotten plenty of practice against formidable pass rushers. But just like I said earlier, it's the blitz that's going to decide everything, as Hafley has taken that 4-down lineman approach with an overload and added his own flavor of blitzing. So yeah, understanding that Jalen and the Eagles' schemes last year didn't fare well against the blitz as much, plus add into it that Jason Kelce's gone and Mekhi Becton's got to prove he's the answer at right guard, and we're going to see a good test tonight, especially since Hafley's the type to create exotic looks and force the weakest point in the O-line to react quickly and correctly. Meaning, no offense to Becton, but the dude's going to have his work cut out for him. Like again, as you see, if the guard can't slide or react in time to push the defender past the pocket, then it's not going to be a fun night for Hurts. Also, the other area that Hafley likes to use is a safety blitz, which is something that constantly shows up on tape from his days at BC. And seeing that Green Bay is looking to use new weapon Xavier McKinney, it wouldn't surprise me to see that look fairly often. But having said that, how are you guys feeling about the blitz and handling it? And then also, I guess, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your confidence level at for Mekhi Becton? Personally, I'm probably at about a 7. Plus, the Eagles do have the element of surprise.
I think one thing that that is an advantage is that no one really knows what we're going to do. So to answer that question would be a little bit of a competitive advantage that we have, and they have some too, because they don't have their defensive coordinator is new as well. But I'm really looking forward to the things that Kellen brings to this offense.
This is the point where Kellen Moore really starts to prove his worth, because we've talked all training camp and preseason about the extra additions of motion and trickery in the offense. And sure, to a certain extent, Sirianni's right, no one exactly knows what Philly's going to do. However, we do know there will be more motion, as Moore has complete autonomy over the offense and will have the benefit of helping Jalen pick up tells thanks to that pre-snap movement, especially versus a Jeff Hafley defense. Just FYI, but Hafley is a little more of a you get what you see defense pre-snap, so hopefully that helps Jalen to get an advantage. Now, it is also worth bringing up that the Packers this season aren't going to look like last year's defense, playing that softer shell bend but don't break defense. Since their new DC prefers a press man coverage. So combine that with a significant amount of blitzes and there could be opportunity for big plays. That's of course if Jalen's reading the signals correctly and calling the proper protection. Remember, he's going to get that shot, after saying his learning was subdued due to all the responsibilities falling on Jason Kelce. However, while some of the media tries to spin that into a negative thing, Kelce sees that as a positive.
There's a lot of media in Philadelphia that are blowing this into like a negative assessment, like he's making an excuse or something like that. And I've shared this exact sentiment with Jalen. I think he's at the stage now in his career that he can take that next step forward, making a lot of these protection calls and things that I did for him early in his career when he's a young player. I think that a lot of the things we struggle with late in the year with the blitzes, when teams do a great job of disguising things and you really don't know where to direct it, the quarterback has to feel comfortable with where he's hot at. And I think that Jalen now controlling a lot of this and taking this ownership on is going to help, especially especially for situations like that. But I think him taking on this as a responsibility is going to accelerate his game across the board.
You can't take anything negative out of that. All you can take is that he's taken the next step. He's getting better. Don't take that as a negative thing. Pat Mahomes talks about how he couldn't even read a defense the first year he was in the league. I think that it's blown way out of proportion if you're looking at that as a negative thing. He's proven a lot of people wrong when they doubt him. That's for damn sure, man.
For real, I love the doubt. I mean, let everyone just keep hating on the Eagles and let's fly under the radar. Although, yeah, it does seem like you're trying really hard to overlook a squad that has the dominant playmakers the Birds have. Also, while A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are no doubt going to get theirs, especially with the opportunity of press man, the biggest chance to help negate the blitz and make life easier on the offense runs through Saquon Barkley. Or maybe I should say runs with Saquon Barkley. Because not only does Saquon just love playing against the Cheeseheads, with wins in back-to-back seasons while accounting for 3 scores over the last 2 games when he was with New York, but if there's one biggest area to exploit, it might be the ground attack. Since Saquon behind the Eagles' O-line should be dominant, and it's the perfect recipe to keep the defense honest while taking some pressure off of Hurts when it comes to the blitz. So having said that, it feels like the perfect time to mention the official sponsor of the Philly Special show, Underdog, because our winnings have been pretty good recently. And personally, I'm not sure there's a better pick than Underdog's 64.5 rushing yards line for number 26. Well, actually, I'd take that back. Because right now, you can take advantage of a Jalen Hurts free square for the game tonight. All you gotta do is use my code PhillySpecial when signing up with Underdog and then pair that up with another pick to win big. Or heck, also be sure to check out my new favorite pick'em game called Streaks, where you start your streak entry by making a pick 2, and then if those green, you just pick 1 at a time. Where when you green 11 picks total, you'll end up winning 1,000 times your money. Remember, use my code PhillySpecial to get up to $1,000 bonus cash when you use the link, so check it out, or just use the link in the description. Anyway, back on the topic of Saquon, just in case there's any fans still looking for a squad, the RB pleaded his case for Eagles fandom.
They should choose the Philadelphia Eagles one because we got great guys on this team. We got a great team, full of talent, and especially around here in South America, you see how passionate they are. One of my boys actually live out here, so he sent me a video. He was at one of the soccer games, sent me a video, and you could see the energy that they had, and I think it matches what Philly has. So if you need a team to root for, why not Philadelphia Eagles?
Maybe it's just the international feel and the whole spectacle of the entire thing, but the entire week in these press conferences is really giving Super Bowl week. Regardless, how are you guys feeling about the Eagles offense, and what do you think are going to end up being the biggest difference makers there? All right, now that we've covered that side of the ball, how about we get into the defense? Because much like the Eagles' advantage on offense, I think the Packers expect to have one with Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love. Heck, they're also really balanced, something Fangio didn't hold back on.
I mean, the biggest problem in defending their offense is they run it just as good as they throw it. So they have a really good mix on first and second down, run and play action, and it makes it hard to defend. And then you throw in what you alluded to of a scrambling mobile quarterback, it adds another dimension to it. And they're really tough to defend. They're run it and throw it equally well, and you throw in an athletic quarterback, and it'll be an all-day sucker.
And how much is that challenging for what's been really a refreshed linebacker core when it comes to that kind of part of their game?
It's challenging. They have a really good play-action game, which, linebackers are the ones primarily being attacked with that. So it is very challenging. And we haven't seen a lot of that type of play-action in training camp. And so it is a challenge, for sure.
Okay, kind of a given, but unlike Green Bay's defense, their offense has stayed much of the same. But like the Eagles' DC alluded to, the Packers keep the defense guessing by utilizing various formations frequently. Of course, I agree with a lot of you out there saying the Birds probably have an advantage when it comes to their D-line versus GB's O-line. Yet be that as it may, it really comes down to one big question.
Jalen Carter, 98 for the Eagles, was their best defensive player last year. When you're the best player, you get the most attention. So you get the chip from Kittle. And then Trent Williams is on you, and you just beat the best left tackle in the whole game. But this is what he's going to see this year. There's no Fletcher Cox this year, all right? But he's going to get this. So you got one-on-ones across the board, all right? Everybody else is one-on-one. Jalen Carter is just battling his butt off right there. You watch him in the run game, he's going to get the attention in the run game. But he's just that good that when you get doubled like this, you get off the block, and you keep McCaffrey out of the end zone. But you watch him game to game right here. Watch him tell Milton Williams, like, look, dude, you're getting the one-on-one. I'm getting the attention. Here it comes. Zack Martin, right? Here comes the center Biotish. Who else? Everybody else, one-on-one. This is the life of Jalen Carter. Now, this year, who's going to be that guy that's going to take the attention away from Jalen Carter? Like you watch this right here, and they lined them up in different places. But there is Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith right there. Everybody else, one-on-one. So you watch this play right here, and it's a huge play. But it's the same thing. Watch the attention and the slide going to Carter. The slide's going to him. So now you get one-on-one. Yeah, Fletcher Cox beats the best right guard in football. And he gets the ball out of Dak's hands, and here comes Jalen Carter. Like, who's going to win the one-on-ones this year? When Jalen Carter, when they slide to him, when they double him, when they game plan him, when they triple him, when they chip him, who's going to pick up the slack this year when Jalen Carter plays? Like, that guy is a monster, but he needs help.
For me, there's no doubt about the bread man. I know that's pretty obvious in pretty much everyone, but who else is going to pick up the slack for him? Personally, while I expect Jordan Davis to be better, I'm looking at Milton Williams in particular in this game versus the Pack, because Milt's shown flashes and has the ability. I mean, let's not forget that Vic Fangio tried to trade for the dude back when he was at Miami, and seeing Williams' prowess to stop the run, he can play a big factor by winning his one-on-ones. So again, if the Eagles can negate the running game and make Matt LaFleur's offense one-dimensional, that's a recipe for success. At the same time, it wouldn't surprise me to see Josh Jacobs get a significant amount of stretch plays to test the Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat on the edges either. Oh yeah, and we haven't even gotten into the whole linebacker situation, although I talked about that a lot recently, so I'm not really going to stir up anything or the other controversy or long-term speculation about who the starter is. Like regardless, Nakobe Dean's the guy tonight, and there really shouldn't be much of a concern when it comes to his run-stopping ability or blitz success. Yet I know, the one question we're all going to continue to have is, can Nakobe and really all the linebackers be serviceable in coverage? Hey, that question's only amplified by the fact that Jordan Love had the third highest EPA per dropback when targeting the slot last season. However, thankfully, Fangio's got an answer to that problem in Quinyon Mitchell, as I'd highly expect Q to be the third quasi-linebacker / slot on defense most of the night. Sure, you don't necessarily want to ask him to deal with Jacobs in the run game, but to contain Jayden Reed and take some pressure off of guys like Nakobe Dean and Zack Baun, Q's got to be the guy. Okay, having said that, how do you guys see this one playing out, and is there anything else you'd mention in terms of how they stop the Packers? Also, as for special teams, there's not too much to say as the Eagles have the upper hand. I mean, hopefully we don't have to call on Jake, but just having a guy like him is a luxury. Also, as for the injury report, Devin White is out as he didn't travel with the team, and then Isaiah Rodgers was a surprise yesterday, but he's officially out with a hand injury. Obviously, the hope is that it's nothing serious, and then seeing that he was a limited participant, I can't imagine that it is. However, like I shared on a past video, there's no reason to freak out, and the plan appears to be Kelee Ringo on the outside while Q remains in the slot, or at least when they're in nickel and dime packages. Now sure, I hear you, that's asking a lot from Q, but that's why you drafted a guy like him in the first round. Plus he's more than proven that he can be that guy on defense. One other thing to mention, we will be streaming during the game with play-by-play, reactions, and highlights, so feel free to swing by. And surprisingly, Marvin McFarland has not come to claim his signed LaShawn McCoy helmet, so I guess we'll have to give that away as well. But come on, Eagles football is right around the corner, so let me get a go Birds and then let's hear those score predictions. I'm going 27-24 Eagles. Until next time, this has been the Philly Special.